Good afternoon, y'all. It's great to meet y'all, and I'm excited to give this debate. The topic is going to be resolved. Stores should not open up on Black Friday. I'm going to offer the weighing mechanism of utilitarianism, which is defined as a morally good action is the one that helps the greatest number of people at the least cost. I'll provide a couple definitions for this round today. Should not in the resolution. It can also mean or not to. Stores in this definition would be an establishment selling goods or products in the retail sector specifically. And then Black Friday in our resolution also I would define as the day after Thanksgiving in the United States, noted as the beginning of the Christmas holiday shopping season. So Black Friday does more harm than good, and I'm going to prove that to you in a couple of different ways for this debate. It does more harm than good to the consumers, and therefore stores should not be open on Black Friday specifically. Retailers open up at a specific hour to meet massive crowds ready to get their hands on the quote-unquote best deals. But there's a bit more to it than that. My first contention going into this round is that retailers don't even offer sales on the best products, and they do it with limited supply. The best brands that we look for on this quote-unquote holiday of Black Fridays, brands such as Samsung and LG and all these fancy name brand products aren't even on sale. You'll see brands such as Dynex, Psyche, and Element, these $100 TVs that are all going out of stores. But the reason that they're being sold so cheap is because their value is of that. They're not good quality products, which is why you're not seeing these Samsung TVs going for $100 on Black Friday deals. It just doesn't happen because retailers are smarter than that. They're not going to give up their best products for such a cheap price, even if it is a day where more people shop than ever before. Also, retailers purposely have low supplies, and when the supply deal is up, they send out the more expensive stuff. For instance, with these TVs I just mentioned, once all the cheap TVs are gone, they're going to say, hey, I know you were here to buy a TV, but let me show you this better TV that we have, which is a bit more, but in reality it's a ton more because they're buying a $700 Samsung Smart TV versus a $100 cheap TV that was on sale for Black Friday. It's in a sense, it's screwing the customers out of what they're actually going Black Friday for, is to save money, when in reality they're not getting a good purchase for their budget. My second contention is that Black Friday encourages overspending. It defeats the entire purpose of saving money by shopping on Black Friday. These deals are just too enticing to pass, and not doing it. This isn't doing our country any good. And if shoppers, it's not going to do our country any good keeping shops open on Black Friday if shoppers and consumers are going into debt each year by overspending on deals that they think are good. My third contention is that stores ought to close on Black Friday and focus on alternative sales strategies. Cyber Monday is far more civil, and there's no camping lines that you have to stand in, and you don't have to miss Thanksgiving if you shop on Cyber Monday versus on Black Friday. There's also no mob mentality. We've all heard stories of people getting trampled in these mob lines trying to get these Black Friday deals, and focusing on Cyber Monday or other shopping days of the year, not even just Cyber Monday, but anything but Black Friday, is going to help decrease the danger aspect of this, which is moving into my contention for that Black Friday is a very dangerous time in society when people shop. In 2013, we've all heard the story that a Walmart worker was killed after they opened the doors at 5 a.m. on Black Friday after a mob stampede trampled him. There's dozens of people that are injured every year by crazed people getting in line to get cheap items. But for what cost? I already mentioned that it's not cost effective because they're not getting a good quality product for the price that they're paying. And not only on top of that, but people are endangering their lives in some cases where they're at a risk of being trampled or being stepped on or being hurt just by trying to get a good product, which isn't good in reality. My final contention 5, are the benefits of staying closed on Black Friday. The first one of these is that workers can remain with their families through the Thanksgiving holiday and avoid this madness, including putting their lives in potential danger. Another alternative we can turn to is that we can extend the online deals through the weekends. And most shoppers are unaware that the same deals that they're finding in stores and fighting over can be found online on Thanksgiving and even through that weekend into Cyber Monday. And I'd like to close with a quote from Time Magazine that says that nearly 85% of all deals in store for Black Friday are found online on Thanksgiving Day and even through Cyber Monday. So to close, I'd just like to wrap up by saying that keeping Black Friday just off the map and closing stores on Black Friday is, in a sense, going straight with what utilitarianism says about doing the most good for the most people. Thank you very much. Just off the map and closing stores on Black Friday is, in a sense, going straight with what utilitarianism says about doing the most good for the most people. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Judge ready?
Yes.
Opponent ready?
Yes.
Okay, I just have a few questions for you today.
Sure.
First, you brought in a lot of contentions. Do you mind go ahead and clarifying those for me today?
Sure, just a brief tagline of each of them. The first one was that retailers don't even offer the best sales of, for Black Friday, and with a limited supply at that matter. The second one is that Black Friday encourages overspending, bringing consumers into debt, which is not a good thing because we already are in debt as a consumer mass. The third contention was that stores ought to close on Black Friday and focus on alternative sales strategies, and I mentioned such as Cyber Monday, and even extending it throughout the Thanksgiving weekend, and also focusing on other days of the year where sales are just as likely to occur. And then the fourth one is that Black Friday can be a dangerous time. I mentioned a couple things about people getting trampled. I mentioned a story from 2013 about a Walmart worker who was actually killed by the mob stampede going through the doors on Black Friday. And then my fifth contention was a couple benefits of staying closed, including that workers can remain with the families. We can eliminate this whole danger aspect of Black Friday. And then we can extend, again, these online deals through the weekend that most Black Friday shoppers are actually missing out on because they're just unaware.
That's all I have.
Sure.
I have the title. Okay, so can you answer one question for me?
Absolutely.
Are all the merchandise lower quality or just some?
Well, certainly not all of them, but the ones that you see consumers going for are generally the $100 TVs and the $20 DVD players, and these,
So
as you know, are.
So you agree that it's circumstantial and not overall?
I believe so, but if you look at what people are spending on, they're not spending money on Samsung TVs that are $700. They're buying the cheap TVs for $100. They're not getting the quality for the pennies that they're paying.
Who says that that's not quality to someone else? Everyone has their specific taste. If that's, it's almost as
that may be true, but quality doesn't necessarily mean that whatever people want to buy is the best quality. The best quality means what's not going to break the quickest, what's going to last the longest.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Absolutely.
Judge ready? Opponent ready?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, for being here today. Thank you, opponent. You have given some good thoughts and contentions today. First, I'm going to go ahead and start off with giving some of my contentions and my argument, and then going to refute my opponents today. Yeah, I just want to agree with his weighing mechanism and his definitions. They were fair today. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and present my going straight into my contentions here. Okay, so first, we know that Black Friday is the official start of the holiday shopping, and with that being said, there wouldn't be a Black Friday if stores wasn't open. It wouldn't be Black Friday. So let's just have a definition here that Black Friday is because of the consumer. Because of Black Friday landing on retailers and consumers. That's the focus of Black Friday. So stores should be open for Black Friday to exist. So, okay, I'm going to go straight into it. My first contention is economy. And I'm just going to go ahead and reference his utilitarian, which, and just go ahead and go the impacts of the economy. Okay, Black Friday is crucial to the economy. It makes up 70% of U.S. economy. So if we go back to reference the weighing mechanism, 70% of the United States economy, that's for the greatest good. That's for the most people are being affected by the economy. It makes up 70% of the U.S. economy, and 40% of retailers make their annual sales on Black Friday. With that being said, a source, usnews.com, says it gives indication and measurements of a larger scale of how our economy is. When economy is good, consumers have less of a reason to rely on those discounted prices. So they study the stats from Black Friday to get the whole aspect and the whole spectrum of our larger economy, which is for the greater good for the most people. Last year, 2015, according to balance.com, 74.2 million people shopped on Black Friday. And I'm just going to go ahead and go into my other opportunities and benefits. That's my second contingent. It allows for there's a lot of seasonal positions. It allows for the employment, benefits to the employment. It adds on to the unemployment rate. It allows for those seasonal positions for people to go in and get that extra hours, which I can go ahead and refute one of my opponent's contingents to where they can spend time with their family. Well, everybody does not have a family. Everybody does not celebrate every holiday, and some people enjoy taking advantages of that extra hour and that extra pay. And again, that goes back to my economy. It is beneficial because it's allowing more people to get more money, have discounts, and it helps lower income people go out and go grab those items that they can't necessarily afford on a regular basis. It also brings that time. He said something about the dangerous times. Well, some people have that adrenaline rush. Some people look forward to that. That could be family bonding time. People take advantage of that. We have that competitive nature to go in and bond as a family to go get those sales that we could normally avoid. And we do save money. And I'm just going to go ahead and refute my opponent's contingents here, because not all of the items are of lower quality. We can just go ahead and give Walmart as an example. It's not lower quality. All of it is not lower quality, so that's not a point. Some may be, and it's up to that consumer. And also, he's only putting the consumers. The greater good is all of us. All the retailers, the economy, that's for the greatest good. So I urge you to understand that for the economy benefits for his weighing mechanism to vote, because it is for the greater good and it benefits the most of us if our economy is booming, and it helps allow for job opportunities, competitive nature opportunity, bonding opportunity, and beneficial economy overall. And thank you for your time today, and I urge you to vote that Black Friday should be open. Stores should be open on Black Friday. Thank you.
Is the judge ready? All right, let's go. My first question is that what is your opinion on the idea that correlation equals causation?
Can you reword that for me?
Do you believe that just because something actually correlates means that it has to cause something to happen? So, for instance, I'll give you the example. You're saying that people will analyze Black Friday and take that as a total representation of our yearly, spending on the economy.
I said that it's an indicator of a larger. It gives an indication of a larger aspect of measuring the economy at large.
Okay, so you're saying because this has some correlation to the economy on a larger scale, that it definitely does cause the economy to boom on a larger scale, like you're saying.
No, I'm saying that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So you also mentioned stuff about the fact that Black Friday is crucial to our economy, but did you know that there are several days throughout the year where they have sales that are even cheaper than Black Friday?
I am aware of that, but like I said, 70% of consumer sales come from Black Friday. That's very crucial. So it doesn't matter if there's cheaper in other days. That's the most crucial, and that adds more beneficial for your weighing mechanism that was given today.
Okay, so can you just confirm or deny this. When you purchase an item that is of less quality, will you eventually have to replace that when it breaks?
I feel that quality is
It's just a simple yes or no answer. If something breaks, do you have to replace it, basically?
no, you don't have to replace it.
Okay, but I mean, that was the whole purpose of buying it in the first place, was to have it. So if you want to remain having it, then you must replace it, correct?
Some people buy temporary, some people buy a lot of temporary or contemporary items that they don't plan to use long term. It depends on that person and what they're buying it for.
Okay, thank you very much. Ready? All right, I want to say great job on your first constructive and your rebuttal. That was very, very good stuff. I'm going to add a little bit of clash here, refute a couple of my opponent's arguments, and then actually attack my opponent's case while defending mine as well. I like to start by basically saying that my question about correlation equaling causation is that my opponent wants to say that this 70% of this 70% of sales that goes on Black Friday is an indicator of how things go in the actual economy. This is a logical fallacy right here. Correlation does not equal causation. We cannot say that because people spend more money Black Friday. That means that's an indicator of how the rest of the economy is going to go for the rest of that quarter, semester, year, whatever you want to say. It just doesn't happen. You can't automatically assume this is how it's going to happen. Sure, people spend more money on Black Friday, but this goes into the argument of what are they actually buying? What are they paying for? Are they paying for stuff that's going to last a long time, where they don't have to go back and buy an expensive item, or are they paying for stuff that's going to last a long time? There's a big difference here of where we're seeing money being actually spent. It's one thing to spend money, but it's actually a completely different thing to define what we're spending it on. And this goes into my argument that I mentioned at the end of my cross-examination, that when we purchase items that are of really bad quality, theoretically we want to replace these items. When you buy kitchen appliances, for instance, on Black Friday, like toaster ovens, coffee makers, stuff like that you need in order to provide for your family, you have to replace that eventually. If you buy a really poorly made item that's going to break in 2 weeks after buying it for $10 on Black Friday, that's just one example of many that can happen. The same thing with the television. I actually have a personal anecdote. One Black Friday year, we actually bought a television for my brothers and I to share, and it broke within the first 2 months, and we had to go and replace that if we wanted to continue that entertainment. My opponent wants to attack my case by saying that workers basically want to get more money doing that. But my question is, at what risk do they want to? Do you think workers are more concerned about their health, or more about a little bit of extra money they'll get just working on Black Friday? That seems kind of backwards. If I were a worker, I would want to make sure that my safety is insured before I make the money, because if I'm trampled, for instance, like this Walmart worker was, that my opponent completely dropped, then the money really doesn't matter at that point, does it? My opponent wants to mention this about some kind of adrenaline rush, that it's family bonding time going to Black Friday. In my opinion, I would want to hang out with my family going to an amusement park or seeing a movie or something, rather than spending $500 on useless stuff on Black Friday. This doesn't seem right to me. Maybe it's just a personal preference of mine. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure where my opponent is going there. Also, we save money by going to Black Friday. I mentioned in my fifth contention also that people actually end up spending more money than they actually need to. And in my third contention, my second, that it encourages overspending by sending more people into debt. And with that, I end my first rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you again, Judge and opponent, for your time today. This has been a pleasure debating you today. But I'm just going to go in and refute some of my opponent's contingents and give you some key voters. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hit his overspending and his overall argument. First, he said that it's no correlation. Well, here, we are the United States. Our background is of science, and it's all in the numbers, and that's how it's been, and that's how we measure. It's all in the numbers. It's all in the data. So that point is very valid, that indication of an economy on larger scales. It gives the retailers and consumers and surveyors a larger aspect of what's to come in the future, and also that data, that stats that was supported by last year that I have of 2015, that number of people that consumed, that gives an indication of how it's going to be this coming up Black Friday. Thank you. Also, he goes in about his quality. Understand that Black Friday gives us this opportunity to buy and afford things that we normally wouldn't afford, or save money or have it at discount prices. Just because it may be lower quality. Some other people may say just, I want a TV in general. Having that opportunity to just have that TV, it doesn't matter what quality, it's still an opportunity. You don't have to go and buy that lower quality if you don't want to. We are humans. We can fact check and we can look at reviews. The Black Friday just simply give us the opportunity to go out and get those sales and discounts. It's not saying, hey, you can only have this time. This is giving an equal opportunity for lower income or people with higher income to go and get that, have the opportunity to buy those items at a lower value. Also, he mentions how dangerous. Every day that you step out of your home, there's a risk of anything. You get in your car, there's a risk of. There's just stuff that you cannot control. It doesn't matter if there's a Black Friday or not. You cannot control your fate or any risk that may happen within that day. Also, competitive and bonding. Competitive. He says that he rather not do that. He gave his own opinion. He called it useless. He said stuff like useless. Well, jewelers, they make retailers that have jewelry that sell, jewelers, they make a lot of money from that because consumers go and they buy and they engagement rings that they probably can't afford. They invite that and they go and get those gifts not for them but for other people. It initiates giving. It initiates getting more to give. And that's what this holiday is about. Going to get things not just for yourself at a lower discounted price, but for others, for the holiday, for remembrance. And yes, he may say that these are useless items, but that it may not always be useless to someone else. Someone had just broke their TV, could have just broke their TV and needed a new one, and Black Friday provided that opportunity to go grab another TV for a discounted price. Also, so it just initiates giving overall, and I'm just going to give you some key voters because I'm just going to go ahead and reference his greater good weighing mechanism. Please vote from that because it just correlates with mine that it's not just the consumers. We're not just looking at the dozens of people, the consumers, but it's an overall scale. It's an overall economy. It's going to put a boom in the employment rate, is going to put a boom in the economy, is going to put a boom in the sales of the retailers and the business owners. So overall, it's going to benefit everyone and not just the consumers. So it's going to, again, vote for me, key voters for the economy, for the greatest good, for the benefiting the most people, and also for the other opportunities and beneficial opportunities that Black Friday, that comes with Black Friday, and that adrenaline rush and that family oriented and just having that holiday to do something that you don't normally do, something out of the norm, something that's not routine. And I urge you to vote for me. Thank you for your time, and please know that in fact that Black Friday stores should be open on Black Friday. Thank you.
Ready? Phone ready. All right. Excellent. So once again, just thank you for just listening to this debate. Hopefully you can give us some good pointers at the end of it to take into this tournament this weekend. I'm excited for it for sure. I'd like to start by addressing my opponent's arguments and then giving some voters to just kind of sum up this debate. The first one of those is my opponent still wants to argue about this overspending issue, and my opponent said that what I'm saying is that I'm saying that there is no correlation between the two. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that yes, there can be correlation. That's perfectly fine, but that this correlation doesn't necessarily cause this thing to happen. My opponent's trying to twist my words, and I'm just clarifying them for you that I don't necessarily say that there's no correlation, but that there doesn't have to be a causation because of this correlation. The second argument my opponent made in their last rebuttal was the argument of quality, and that it's not just things that we can't afford, but it's things that we actually need is my argument. Like I mentioned the argument about kitchen appliances, for instance. If you want to buy a $20 toaster or toaster oven from someplace, that's perfectly fine, but the quality that you're getting is directly correlated to not causation, as I mentioned, but it's directly correlated to the fact that the quality we're getting is I just said the same thing, is correlated to the amount we're spending on it. And so when you buy a cheap product, it's probably going to break more quickly than an expensive product that you're going to purchase. And like I mentioned, there are other deals throughout the year where they offer these name brand products at good deals, not just these crappy products at good deals on Black Friday specifically. My opponent wants to refute the argument about danger, and that it's not necessarily a dangerous thing, and that people die all the time. That obviously people die all the time, but this is by closing stores on Black Friday, we can limit the amount of people that are dying on Black Friday, that are getting injured on Black Friday. Obviously, stuff happens due to chance, but we can limit that chance by not having Black Friday, by closing our stores and not allowing ourselves to be put in that position to get trampled or to get run over on accident. My opponent wants to bring up this argument about jewelers, and I want to say that that is a new argument that my opponent did not mention in their case, so I'd like for you to drop that argument if that's okay. My opponent also says that Thanksgiving, my opponent wants to argue that this Black Friday holiday is what brings in this holiday of giving and whatnot, but I want to argue just the opposite, that Thanksgiving is the day right before Black Friday. And what matters, in my opinion, is that when people spend more money on me for the same product, essentially, then that gives me an indicator of how much they actually love me and respect me. Not that I can be bought with a purchase, but if somebody's going to purchase the same product for me on Black Friday that they could have another day, that just seems kind of sketchy to me, that they didn't necessarily care enough to get that product regardless of what the sale was. My opponent also has this argument about a boom in the employment rate. I'd like to argue the opposite, that my opponent even said it herself, that these are seasonal jobs. They're going to get fired as soon as the season's over. That's the purpose of it. So just to wrap things up, thank you for this debate, and I urge you to vote affirmative that stores should close on Black Friday. Thank you very much.